The birthday balloons danced in the breeze outside the small community hall, their colors bright but their strings thin and trembling, just like the little girl holding them. Her name was Lily, only 7 years old, with pigtails tied unevenly and a pink paper crown she'd made herself. In her tiny hands, she clutched a handful of invitations, worn at the corners from being held too tightly. She stood by the park entrance, waiting for someone special. And when she saw him, Mr. Daniel, the quiet man from across the street who always seemed too busy for small talk, she ran to him, her little shoes tapping the ground like excited raindrops. "Mr. Daniel," she called out, breathless and glowing. "Will you come to my birthday party today? Mommy's sick, but she'll still smile if you come." He froze. The words hit him in a way he didn't expect. He'd planned to rush home, check his emails, and order dinner before the night got lonely again, but something about her trembling voice and those hopeful eyes stopped him. It had been years since anyone had invited him to anything. And now, this little girl, barely half his height, looked at him as if his presence alone could make her world brighter. "Your mom's sick?" he asked softly. Lily nodded, the smile never leaving her face. "But she says smiles are medicine, and if we all smile, she'll get better soon. So please come, okay? I'll save you a cupcake." That simple promise, a cupcake, and that pure faith in joy melted something inside Daniel. "Okay, sweetheart," he said quietly. "I'll be there." The small party was set up in their backyard, a few balloons, paper plates, a cake that looked homemade, slightly tilted to one side. But to Lily, it was perfect. Daniel arrived awkwardly, holding a small gift he'd bought at the last minute, a coloring book and crayons. He hadn't expected to feel nervous, yet here he was, surrounded by laughter and innocence he hadn't felt in years. Lily's mother, Sarah, was sitting in a chair under the shade of a tree. Her face was pale, her scarf wrapped around her head, but her eyes were full of warmth. When she saw Daniel, she smiled. "You must be the kind man who lives across the street," she said gently. Daniel nodded, suddenly unsure how to reply. I just wanted to drop by. Lily invited me. She has a heart too big for her little body," Sarah said with a laugh that ended in a cough she tried to hide. "Thank you for coming. It means more than you know." The afternoon went on with laughter, cake, and music from a tiny speaker that kept skipping. But none of that mattered, because for those few hours, everything felt right. Lily danced around, her paper crown slipping over her eyes, and Sarah watched her daughter like she was memorizing every move. Later, as the sun began to set, Daniel offered to help clean up. Sarah hesitated but nodded, too tired to argue. As they packed the plates and picked up the ribbons, Daniel finally asked, "How bad is it?" She looked at him for a long moment before answering softly, "Stage 4. The words hung heavy in the air. Daniel didn't know what to say. He'd lost his wife to cancer 5 years ago. The pain he'd buried so deep suddenly surfaced, and the ache in his chest was almost unbearable. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Sarah smiled faintly. "Don't be. I'm lucky, I get to see her grow up a little, and I get to fill her days with love. That's all any of us really have, isn't it? Days to fill with love." Something changed in Daniel that night. He stayed until the stars came out, watching as Sarah gently tucked Lily into bed, whispering a lullaby that trembled with emotion. When she came back outside, Daniel was still there, staring at the sky. "Would you let me help?" he asked quietly. "Whatever you need. Groceries, rides to the doctor, anything." Sarah looked at him, eyes shining with gratitude and sadness. "You already did," she said softly. "You showed up." Days turned into weeks. Daniel became a part of their little world, helping Lily with her homework, fixing the broken porch light, reading bedtime stories when Sarah was too weak to do it herself. The house, once filled with quiet suffering, began to echo with laughter again. And for Daniel, the emptiness he'd carried for so long started to fade, but no matter how much love filled those walls, time was still moving. And one night, when Lily was asleep, Sarah called Daniel to her side. Her voice was thin, her hand trembling as she handed him an envelope. If I don't make it," she said softly, "promise me something." "Anything," Daniel whispered. "Promise you'll keep smiling for her. That you'll remind her that love doesn't end, it just changes shape." He nodded, tears blurring his vision. "Thank you," she whispered, her eyes closing as she smiled one last time. The day Sarah passed, the world seemed to stand still. The air was heavy, the sky gray. But when Lily woke up and saw Daniel sitting by her bed, holding her mother's paper crown in his hands, she crawled into his lap and said, "Mommy's smiling, right? You promised she'd still smile." Daniel hugged her tightly, his voice breaking. "Yes, sweetheart. She's smiling right now." From that day on, Daniel became more than just a neighbor, he became family. He walked her to school, cheered at her plays, and made sure every birthday still had balloons, cake, and laughter. And every year, when Lily blew out her candles, she'd look up at the sky and whisper, "This one's for you, Mommy." Because even though Sarah was gone, her love, her belief that smiles could heal, remained alive in both of them, and that's what love truly is, not the moments that last forever, but the hearts that keep beating for those who can't. So if you ever find yourself too busy, too distant, too tired to show up, remember Lily's words, "Mommy's sick, but she'll still smile if you come." Sometimes, showing up for someone, just once, can change both your lives forever.